Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed. We delve into the research, the biographies, the articles you send us.
And we pull out the most compelling, surprising, and really essential stuff.
Exactly. And today, we are tackling a giant Sir Isaac Newton.
And the mission here is, well, it's critical. We're moving way beyond that simple schoolbook story, the apple falling on his head.
Right. Forget just the apple.
We need to grasp the whole person, the loner, the synthesizer of ideas, the secret theologian, the alchemist, and surprisingly, the really quite vengeful rival.
Yeah, the sources just scream contradiction, don't they? You have Edmund Halley saying Newton was nearer to the gods no mortal may approach, puts him on this, divine level.
Almost mythical.
But then the private reality we found, reclusive, deeply volatile, capable of intense secrecy and holding these massive grudges. How do those two things even coexist?
Well, I think you have to start right at the beginning, don't you? To see how that temperament formed. He was born premature.
Tiny, apparently.
Yeah, incredibly small. The sources say his mother, Hannah, claimed he could have fit inside a quart pot.
Wow. And his father died before he was born. Then his mother remarries this wealthy rector, Barnabas Smith.
And leaves young Isaac behind with his grandparents. That abandonment must have just sunk in deep.
It seems like it colored everything that came after, that emotional complexity.
It really seems so. And you see that raw feeling, maybe, in this teenage list of sins we found. It's quite something.
Most of it's pretty standard kid stuff, right?
Yeah, minor things. But then there's this one entry, just stands out. It's shocking, really, he admitted to. Threatening my father and Mother Smith to burn them and the house over them.
Whoa. That is intense. That volatility, that anger, it was right there from the start.
Clearly. But somehow, that same, I guess, intensity, it got channeled into this incredible curiosity.
You mean at King's School in Grantham? He wasn't playing sports much, he was building things.
Exactly. Contraptions. My favorite story has to be the model windmill he built, a working model. But instead of just wind power, he apparently put a mouse inside.
A mouse?
Yeah, and called it his miller. He was just fascinated by mechanics, by motion, even then.
And he applied that same thinking even to, well, jumping. The story about the storm.
Oh, right. A huge storm hits, and he's outside, not hiding, but using the wind gusts to try and jump further than the other kids.
Trying to play philosophically, as a friend described it. He's already collecting data, basically.
That mix of, hands-on curiosity and deep thought took him to Trinity College, Cambridge.
Though not exactly with a silver spoon. He was a sizar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which meant he was basically working his way through waiting tables, running errands for the richer students. Another thing setting him apart, probably adding to that isolation.
He started off with Aristotle and Plato, the usual stuff. But how did he pivot to, Newtonian science?
Well, around 1663, there seems to have been this big shift. He decided that empirical proof, what you could actually see and measure, had to trump the old authorities.
And he wrote that amazing sentence.
His Declaration of Independence, essentially. I am a friend of Plato, I'm a friend of Aristotle, but truth is my greater friend. Bold stuff for a student.
And what blows my mind is that he basically had to teach himself the advanced math needed to chase that truth. No big mentor figure at Cambridge?
Nope. Pure autodidact. The story goes he bought an astrology book.
Just for fun.
Apparently. But then realized he didn't know the trig to understand it. So he gets a trig book, then realizes he needs geometry. So he buys Euclid's Elements.
And mastered it all on his own.
Yeah, apparently he glanced at Euclid first and thought it was too simple, put it down, then came back later and just devoured it.
Yeah.
Building his own toolkit, piece by piece.
Which leads us straight into that legendary period, the Annus Mirabilis. The wondrous years, 1665 to 66.
Yes, and the context is crucial here. The bubonic plague.
Right, the Great Plague.
Cambridge shuts down. Newton has to go back home to Woolsthorpe. No classes, no duties.
Just him and his thoughts.
Total isolation. And in that roughly 2-year window, he comes up with this incredible trinity of discoveries that just changed everything.
Okay, let's break them down. What's the first one?
First, calculus. Or as he called it, the method of fluxions.
Fluxions. Okay.
Before him, math was mostly static. Fluxions gave science the tools to deal with things that change continuously. Think acceleration, the slope of a curve at any point, a planet's path.
The mathematics of motion.
Exactly. A language for a dynamic universe.
Then comes the gravity insight. We know the apple story is likely true, confirmed by his friend Stukely.
Yeah, it seems it wasn't just a myth.
But what was the real leap after seeing the apple fall?
It wasn't just that gravity makes things fall. It was the question of how far it reaches. If it pulls the apple from the tree, if it reaches the top of a mountain, he thought, why not as high as the moon?
Ah, connecting the earthly and the celestial.
Precisely. And that led him to work out the inverse square law, that the pull of gravity weakens, specifically with the square of the distance, not just randomly fading away.
Same force, apple and moon. Wow. Okay, and the third breakthrough.
Optics. Light and colors.
Hmm?
The prism experiments. His experimentum crucis, the crucial experiment.
People thought prisms added color to light back then, didn't they?
Correct. That white light was pure and the prism sort of stained it. Newton showed, nope, white light is actually a mixture of all the colors. The prism just separates them because each color bends or refracts at a slightly different angle.
Red bends the least, violet the most.
You got it. Completely overturns centuries of thinking based on Aristotle.
It's just staggering. He basically invents huge chunks of modern physics and math in his early 20s, alone. But then, and this is the crazy part to me, he just sits on it for years. Why?
It seems for Newton, the understanding itself was the reward. Proof to him was sufficient unto itself, as one source put it. He didn't crave the external pat on the back.
No urge to publish immediately.
Apparently not. Plus, publishing meant questions, debates, potential arguments.
And he hated conflict.
Despised it. Which is deeply ironic given what happens later, but yeah, that seems to be a big part of the secrecy.
Okay, so while he's keeping calculus under wraps, what else is occupying his time back in his Cambridge rooms? This wasn't just downtime.
Far from it. He was deep into two other massive, very hidden pursuits. First one, alchemy.
Alchemy, like trying to turn lead into gold.
That was part of the tradition, yes. But for Newton, it seems it was much deeper. His assistant, Humphrey Newton, said the fire in his lab furnace barely ever went out.
So what was he really after, if not just gold?
The sources suggest he was searching for a kind of universal principle, a connection between the microcosm, tiny particles, atoms, and the macrocosm, the stars, the planets.
It sounds almost modern, like precursors to unified field theories.
In a philosophical sense, maybe.
Yeah.
He was looking for the hidden connections, the secret architecture of everything, using the language and methods of alchemy. It was serious business for him.
Okay, that's one secret life. What was the other?
Theology. Religion. He wrote something like 1.4 million words on it.
1.5 million words on religion.
Yep. Biblical interpretation, prophecy, church history. And again, incredibly secret because his conclusions were dangerous.
How so?
He came to reject the doctrine of the Trinity. That was heresy. If that had gotten out, he would have absolutely lost his professorship at Cambridge. He lived with this constant intellectual risk.
But the bit that always gets me is the prophecy stuff. The guy who figures out the laws of motion is also trying to predict the end of the world.
It's an amazing contrast, isn't it? He used the books of Daniel and Revelation, applied his intense analytical focus.
And came up with a date.
He did. Based on his readings and calculations, the materials show he pinpointed the year 2060 for the final cataclysm.
2060. Wow. Okay, the ultimate rationalist calculating the apocalypse. Mind-bending.
It truly is.
So eventually, though, the science does come out, the big one, the Principia Mathematica, 1687. Hard to overstate its importance, but it nearly didn't get published, did it?
Almost didn't happen.
Yeah.
We owe a huge debt to Edmund Halley. Yes, the comet guy.
Halley's Comet, Halley.
The very same. He visited Newton, realized what he was sitting on, and basically pestered and cajoled him into writing it up. Halley even paid for the printing himself because the Royal Society was broke at the time.
Incredible. So Halley is the catalyst. And the Principia itself, it lays out the 3 laws of motion.
Founds modern dynamics, basically. But the really earth-shattering part was applying universal gravitation everywhere.
Not just planets orbiting the sun.
No, he explained why orbits are elliptical. He calculated how the sun and moon's gravity caused the ocean tides. Nobody had properly explained that before.
That's huge.
And maybe even more impressively, he calculated the Earth's precession of the equinoxes, that slow wobble the Earth has.
The one that takes like 26,000 years?
Exactly. He showed it was due to the gravitational pull on Earth's equatorial bulge. It was proof positive that the same laws operate on Earth and in the heavens, a unified system.
So he finally publishes this masterpiece, changes the world. Yet his next big book, The Optics, he holds back for nearly 20 years. Why?
One reason. Robert Hooke.
Ah, the rivalries begin.
Or rather, continue. He deliberately waited until Hooke died in 1703 before publishing Optics in 1704. He just couldn't face another battle with him.
The guy who unlocked the secrets of the universe was, what, scared of arguments?
Exhausted by them, perhaps. The drama of the scientific community, especially the Royal Society, seemed to genuinely drain him.
Well, the drama certainly found him. Let's talk about Hooke. Hooke claimed he had ideas about gravity and telescopes first, right?
He did. He claimed priority on parts of the inverse square law concept and telescope design, and Newton's reaction was, well, brutal.
How so?
He went through the Principia manuscript before it was printed and systematically removed pretty much every mention of Hooke's name. Petty, maybe, but effective.
Wow. There's that vengeful streak again.
It's there. As the French scientist Clairaut later said, there's a big difference between a truth that is glimpsed and a truth that is demonstrated. Hooke glimpsed. Newton demonstrated with rigorous math. But Newton never forgave the challenge.
And that was just a warm-up for the main event, the calculus war. Him versus Leibniz.
Oh, that was nasty. A truly bitter international dispute over who invented calculus first.
They both basically did, independently, didn't they?
It seems almost certain they did. Leibniz in Germany, Newton in England. But it became this huge nationalistic fight.
And Newton used his power, didn't he, as president of the Royal Society?
Absolutely. He appointed the committee that was supposed to investigate impartially. Surprise, surprise.
They found in his favor.
Completely.
Yeah.
They issued a report, the Commercium Epistolicum, that basically accused Leibniz of plagiarism, of stealing Newton's ideas. It was a setup.
It's amazing he got away with that level of, well, manipulation.
His reputation by then was immense. But even his rivals had to acknowledge the sheer power of his intellect. There's that great story with Johann Bernoulli.
Oh, the challenge problem.
Yes. Bernoulli posed this incredibly difficult mathematical problem. Leibniz couldn't crack it publicly. Newton received it anonymously, solved it in a single evening after a long day's work.
Just like that.
It's just like that. And sent the solution back, also anonymously. But Bernoulli supposedly knew instantly who it was.
What did he say?
The famous line, tanquam ex ungue leonem. I recognize the lion by his claw. Even in anonymity, the genius was unmistakable.
The lion, though, eventually leaves the academic world behind. 1696, he moves to London, becomes Warden, then Master of the Royal Mint. This career change always baffles me. Why?
It's a huge shift, isn't it? From pure science to effectively running the country's money supply.
What did the job actually involve?
It was a massive undertaking, reforming the coinage, tackling widespread clipping and counterfeiting. England's currency was in chaos. He saw it as bringing order, the same kind of mathematical order he sought in the cosmos, to the economy.
And he got personally involved in catching the bad guys.
Oh, absolutely. He wasn't just shuffling papers. He became a relentless investigator, especially targeting counterfeiters. He saw them as undermining the very stability of the kingdom.
Which leads to the William Chaloner case. This guy was a master forger, right?
Apparently incredibly cunning. And Newton became obsessed with bringing him down. The sources paint a picture of Newton acting like a detective.
Really? How?
He went undercover, used informants, personally interviewed criminals in Newgate Prison, gathered evidence piece by piece. He pursued Chaloner with the same intensity he pursued scientific truth.
And he made sure Chaloner faced the maximum penalty.
He pushed hard for a charge of high treason, which carried the death penalty. Chaloner was eventually hanged. Newton showed absolutely no mercy.
That quote attributed to him about criminals.
Always return to their vomit. It's chilling. The great physicist as this grim, Old Testament-style law enforcer. Order had to be imposed, whether in the heavens or on the streets of London.
So he spends his later years as this establishment figure, knighted, president of the Royal Society, living with his niece, Catherine Barton. Seems like a calmer end.
Honors, stability, yes. But even then, that famous final reflection he made suggests he never lost perspective, or maybe that sense of how much was still unknown.
The boy on the seashore analogy.
Exactly. He said something like, I don't know what I may appear to the world, but to myself I seem to have been only like a boy, playing on the seashore, finding a smoother pebble or prettier shell now and then, while the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before me.
It's quite a statement of humility, considering everything he'd achieved.
Or maybe profound realism about the scale of the universe.
So this deep dive really underscores it, doesn't it? These historical giants are never simple. Newton's path was paved with brilliance, sure, but also secrecy, intense personal feuds, and even, vengeance.
It shows that scientific revolution isn't always neat and tidy. It's often messy, human, and driven by complex personalities.
Okay, so here's a final thought for you, something to really chew on. Newton is seen as a father of the clockwork universe, right? Everything running by predictable mechanical laws.
That's the popular image, definitely. Deterministic.
But here's the twist from the sources. Newton himself didn't believe the universe could run on its own forever.
Really? After discovering the laws governing it?
He apparently thought that without God, the creator, actively intervening from time to time, physically adjusting things, the gravitational pulls between planets would eventually cause the whole system to decay, run down, collapse, maybe even explode in some final cataclysm.
Wow. So the man who gave us perfect predictability still believed in an underlying chaos, or at least instability, requiring divine maintenance.
Seems like it. The architect of cosmic order still saw the potential for cosmic breakdown without a guiding hand. Something to ponder.
Definitely something to ponder. The ultimate rationalist still leaving room for the inexplicable, perhaps.
That's an incredible place to leave it. And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the tangled, brilliant, and often contradictory life of Isaac Newton.